Iranians have also made it clear that their aim is to look forward to freedom and democracy, not back to the dictatorship of the Shah, as it was rejected once and for all in the 1979 revolution. Today, Iranians shout in the streets, "Death to the oppressor," be it the Shah or the supreme leader.
I'm pleased to see you today to celebrate Nowruz, the start of the Iranian New Year. Your presence sends an encouraging message to the people of Iran, especially the women and youth who took to the streets in recent months to protest against the regime, demanding regime change. To discourage the people, the regime's propaganda in Iran suggests that people of Iran are isolated and international community only deals with regime. Your presence in this event, in support of the Iranian people's demands for change and the House Resolution 100, supported by 225 members, is a blow to this propaganda. Distinguished senators and personalities, the Western government's policy of appeasement is another obstacle for the Iranian people's uprising. Although they publicly support the uprising, they are actually allowing the regime to sell oil. They speak out against oppression but do not support the terrorist designation of the IRGC, which is the main force of repression. This policy will have harmful effects on the Iranian people's uprising. The recent uprising is not just a passing event, but deeply rooted in the fight against the mullahs. 120,000 people have lost their lives, including 30,000 political prisoners who were massacred in 1988. 90% of them were MK members and supporters. This huge loss of life is the price that the Iranian people paid for freedom, and it is one of the significant factors that continue to encourage the protests. Speaking on behalf of the Iranian people's resistance, I urge the honorable members of the United States Senate to support the Iranian people's desire expressed through their slogans. To achieve this, I suggest a special initiative that includes the following. First, reactivate 6 UN Security Council resolutions to prevent the regime's efforts to obtain nuclear weapons. The regime's nuclear negotiations are just a tactic to buy time. Second, end the activities of the Iranian regime's supporters and lobbies in the United States. Third, impose comprehensive sanctions against the regime and its affiliated organizations and stop the regime's use of American markets, companies, and universities. And fourth, recognize the legitimacy of the Iranian people's struggle to overthrow the regime and acknowledge the right of Iranian youth to self-defense against the Revolutionary Guards.
On this auspicious occasion, I would also like to take a moment to recognize the leadership of Mrs. Maryam Rajavi, the President-elect of the National Council of Resistance of Iran, which has been around since 1981. Her tireless work and advocacy for a democratic Iran have been an inspiration to all of us. And we are deeply grateful for her unwavering commitment to the Iranian people. Her 10-point plan for a democratic Iran is a testament to her vision and her leadership. And I was delighted to know that it has been endorsed by some 224 members of Congress, of the House of Representatives, and both political parties in the new 118th Congress.
I think that the events of the past year have really demonstrated that we've crossed a line, and the people of Iran are not going to go back. So this is the time to redouble our efforts. And I want to say that through the work of the MEK, Madam Rajavi, and everybody who has helped out over the years, it's been a fundamental part of that effort. This is saying that the people of Iran do not believe that the Ayatollahs convey the word of God that they have to believe, that individuals can make their own decisions. And that's what they've been doing for the past 6 months.
We know that also Mrs. Maryam Rajavi, that she has put forward a 10-point plan. And this is something that she has been very consistent on from the very beginning. Her 10-point plan, importantly, calls on the people of Iran to have freedom of expression, freedom of assembly, freedom of religion, freedom to choose their own leaders. And the people of Iran clearly want that, and they want protection of their fundamental rights. So those protesting in Iran have launched a movement which deserves strong support from the international community.
This is a movement that has had the courage to take on absolute power and not be afraid of it. And it's more than that. It's a movement that is based on a vision for the future. A secular, democratic, non-nuclear Republic of Iran. If you read Mrs. Rajavi's 10-point plan, you think in part you're reading the Bill of Rights from the American Constitution. And I think it's important as we go forward to look back and say thank you to the MEK NCRI. Thank you for all your heroism, your persistence, your stamina, your resolve, and for the work that you have done. We're here to stand with you today, as we have for years, in support of the NCRI because of all its members have done inside Iran and throughout the world in the global diaspora.
We have to make sure that we have a very clear vision that the only way Iran changes is when their leadership is gone, and that the Iranian people's voice is heard through you all for right now. The thing that I always say, and I've said here before, that this has never been about the Iranian people. A very smart population of people just desiring freedom and being denied it every step of the way. What we have to do here is recognize that we have a malign influence that is metastasizing across the globe.
The Iranian people, led by women and girls of Iran, are putting their lives on the line, facing beatings, poison gas, long prison sentences, and hanging. Our job requires much less courage. Demand the truth. Insist that the media stop amplifying the false history. Stop giving these brutal criminals a pass. We all have a role in standing with the brave and noble Iranian people, and to that end, it is my honor to stand with all of you.
I have Ms. Rajavi's 10-point plan for future Iran, and what she says about women is complete gender equality in the realms of political, social, cultural, and economic rights, an equal participation of women in political leadership, abolishment of any form of discrimination, the right to choose one's own clothing freely, the right to freely marry and divorce, and to obtain education and employment, prohibition of all forms of exploitation against women under any pretext. That sounds pretty democratic to me.